Someone wants to know, how do I properly set up an accountable plan to reimburse myself tax free?
You follow our guidelines. So,
That's true.
an accountable plan, what it is this is a plan under Section 162-2 of the Treasury Regulations. And basically, if you've ever worked at a job where like you went out to dinner and you wined and dined a client, and then you gave the receipt to your employer and they cut you a check, that's an accountable plan. It's a reimbursement of a personal spending for that was used for business purposes. If you run your own small business, you can also use this, but you got to make sure that, again, I's are dotted, T's are crossed. What we've developed over time is a worksheet that has the general categories that we see a lot of, and then we can always like fill in other categories that come up because the everybody's different, so it depends. But as far as things that are potentially deductible, home office type of stuff we use a lot. Now, home office people get confused because there's a home office form. What is it, 8824? One of those two. But that only applies to if you're filing a Schedule C. If you are an S corporation or a partnership or a C corporation, you don't have that form because it's not part of the same thing, right? Because those companies are filing their own tax returns. So the way to take those same kind of deductions is through an accountable plan. Say I have this many square feet of my house is office space, and so I'm going to take that percentage compared to my total square footage and apply that towards rent or insurance or utilities or what have you. That's a common thing that we see. Um, Travel, that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of nuance that goes into all these kinds of things. So the thing that gets people on home office deductions is the criteria is regular and exclusive. So regular is not hard to meet because I work in my home office 3 times a week or twice a month or once a quarter, whatever. It's regular. The exclusive is where people get tripped up. So it's got to be only used, and I do mean only for business purposes. There's been all kinds of weird case law that puts this into stark relief. There was one case where a woman, this is actually my favorite one because it's so egregious, has a baby. She's working from home. She puts the crib in the home office. During examination, this gets revealed. It says, oh, you violated exclusivity, so it's not deductible. And it's just like, if you worked in a regular office and you brought in a crib, it's still an office, right? It doesn't change the character of that office. But in a home office, it does because just different rules. You got to be really careful about defining your square footage. It could be just the square footage like around the physical desk. And that would still be worth doing because it also allows you to start counting travel more than otherwise if you had no home office. And it's probably more complicated than we have time to go into right now. But yeah, so technically, accountable plans do not have to be written in that you don't need a formal plan. However, we still do formal plans just because we just want everything written so that everybody's on the same page. And then you have to have the expense and then you have to reimburse yourself and you got to manage that process. I like to tie this into our summit strategy session where we have monthly management meetings reviewing your business, and you can do all those things at that meeting. And it's on the agenda so you don't forget it and make sure that you take your reimbursements and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's like the generalities. I am going to be coming out with a standalone accountable plan worksheet and video instruction so that people can do their own accountable plans. But yeah, for now, that's the general guidelines. And I think we have time for one more, probably.
Okay. I don't know if this is going to be an easy question or
Okay.
it might take a little bit, but it's not a tax planning question.